Beep bop beep bop beep bop beep beep boo beep boop beep bop bop boo beep boop beep boo beep 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 doo 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 doo. Hi everybody, welcome to the stream. It's kind of hot in here, so I'm suffering. I just me and Holloway just binged like all of Frieren that's out right now. So I'm definitely gonna have to start like actually reading the manga after stream. 100% necessary. I need more Fern content in my life. And I need to know more about those two lesbians. I simply must. I don't know if they're gonna show up again, but I definitely need to know more about them. I also need to see more Ubel. Ubel's a freak. I'm kind of all about it. You should do a Fern model for Halloween. That would be so funny. God, that's actually a great idea. I was thinking about possibilities for a Halloween costume. I was definitely considering like a ghost or a... Who's Fern? She's Frieren's apprentice. Thank you for the subscription. She's like a purple girl who does magic. Do you like that show? It was really, really good. I gotta read it so I can get more Frieren content. I like the girl with the spear. I don't know who that is. Green hair. Oh, Ubel. Ubel? It's Ubel, I think. Yeah, that's just a staff. But I mean, they are kind of like shaped in certain ways. Hers definitely looks like a spear, kind of. There's one girl who would look like a Khopesh type axe on a polearm if she held it the opposite way around, which I think is kind of cool. Oh my goodness. Hello, Fuzzy Isabella. Thank you for following. Welcome to the cafe. Khopesh are so cool. Yeah, they really were just like, what if we did swords and axes at the same time? And everyone's just like, this is fucking awesome. Let us continue. We're on the trial. Hello? Did I accidentally choose not to load it? Oh, yeah. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. One of the coolest fucking things in Space Marine are like Thousand Sun's power swords or Khopesh. That's so sick. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. Don't start for a minute more. I'm putting dinner in the microwave. But it's time to start. I can wait for another minute. I can chill out and I can have some more sarsaparilla. Went to an independent little soda shop the other day. Cool place. It's not the best sarsaparilla I've ever had, but it's still pretty good. But yeah, no, a Fern costume would be pretty excellent. I'll definitely think about that. Really, I just have to buckle down and actually, you know, do it. The Fern costume would take more effort than some of the other ones I'm considering. But I would like to actually, like, try harder on my art. I know I'm having trouble just even starting, but I would like to get back to where I was. It's hard not to want that, but you know. Make me violently jealous by having sarsaparilla. I do really like sarsaparilla. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, it was me. It was Mia. Okay. Turning your gay ass up. Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. You miss Eeps? Do you mean sleeping or do you mean Teeps? Or pearls either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Teeps died, so probably that. Oh no! It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. Lost our card gets from last night? They were in a Bloomborough pack, I'm pretty sure. I stuck it on the dashboard with glue, with the glue that came out with it. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts, and even if you don't like my gift. Got a super rare and Link Grizzard today? Nice! I have completely failed to get the new Ryoshu from, in Limbus, so I am sad. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest. If you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who is that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Let me pull her real quick. I have a slot machine for maintenance. Well, the new one is, the new banner with her on it is gone. But I guess she does have a focus banner right now. I did a 10 pull on the focus banner and got Jack Diddley squat. So, not too happy about that. Is that a new character? Ryoshu from Limbus Company. She had a new Mr. Diddley Squat. Guy who knows nothing, but they take up to the witness stand anyway. Just to waste time. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? I like Chef Ryoshu in one of the weird section ones. Chef Ryoshu is actually really solid. She's actually a good healing unit. Jack, short for Jacqueline. Miss Jacqueline Diddley Squad. Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. Except then Edgeworth would take over, which is just as bad. Well, I guess I wouldn't get whipped. This is totally insane! Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. You're... I thought he'd show up. Your Honor. Edgeworth just got in, like, yesterday? Yeah, basically. Due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. I like how he still has the straight back stance from when he was like, I definitely did murder. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engarde. The court acknowledges the prosecution. How do you resize the Limbus window? What? I don't know what that means. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. You know, I don't think it's addressed enough, but really, like, his name is Detective. Like that. Like, Gumshoe's name is just Detective. Now let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is gonna be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. A real Buffalo sentence, but for names, yeah. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. I like Gumshoe's face here. He's just like, I'm stuck between two guys who have a lot of sexual tension going on. Who's this titted up lady? That's Mia's ghost possessing Pearl. The murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. Mia died? That's so sad. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Yeah, in the first real case. Yeah, literally immediately after the tutorial in the first game. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. But she does show up almost constantly just because she is dead. Like, that is what keeps enabling her to show up all the time. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Just like Tony Stark. Mia, the weapons manufacturer. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, detective. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah? Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Engarde's manager. She's a real pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Engarde. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Kurita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. That's what I'm saying! Take a good, hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir? That's what you told us, asshole? That is the joke. Yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Can I kill this guy? Get the banana phoenix. Potassium. Hey, Fen, I should play those on stream sometime. So you can all see me die to Jevil like 100 times. Then, what about the knife? It seems to be stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. I wore my official Napstablook Undertale shirt at work today. Hell yes! We love funny ghosts. Oh, that reminds me. I should take my antidepressants. Thanks, Napstablook. #1 depressed ghost of all time. Grabbing pills! At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case, yeah. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... Ishmael with claws. There is a new Ishmael. I haven't looked at her yet. And a new Rodion, also. But... the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. Fuck. Halibut came and delivered me a vitamin D also. Because as you might be able to tell, I have not... I don't see that much sun. Thank you, Judge, for not doing your job. You know. I know, it's crazy. Just because shining a flashlight on me would reflect and blind you completely doesn't mean I don't get sun. What convinced you that it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Kurita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he's on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. Her favorite weather is an overcast day. I do love an overcast day, and I like the forest when there's a lot of dappled sunlight is fine. It's finding mushrooms and moss and shit. Hell yes. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. She's got that European hereditary urge for broody weather. I know! And I'm stuck here in America. Truly fucked. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was a reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. She wants Wuthering. I think that place would be fine to live. Is your stream on Do Not Disturb, or can I blow up a stream with Risk of Rain Golem emoji messages? Is my Steam Do Not Disturb? My Steam is not on Do Not Disturb, but I don't think I get noises for notifications, because Valerie's uplink has sent me some things before, and it hasn't ever, like, popped up. Wuthering Heights maxing. I am like 6'1", so like I want the Wuthering, I've got the height. Matt on Guard and Juan Carito were huge rivals with one another. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. On Guard's Hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. Forced to live in Florida and wants to be shorter, though. Honestly. Imagine if I was a short stack. I would be so powerful. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes it a premeditated murder. Wait, he bought, like, a butter knife to do a murder with? So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. I would have to be a violent person if that was the case. I would have so much to kill for. And there's this button. That was found on the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Well, let me just check the court record just to keep track of all the stuff we found. Button covered in blood was found in the Hakama. Knife has the victim's blood and On Guard on it, and it's from the Gatewater Hotel. Strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. The suicide reports. Photo. Wine glass not broken and apparently not drank. Water on top of the lid bears Carito's fingerprints. This is the thing where AA and Carita are doing a thing. Tabloid article was in this. Yeah, okay. Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you'd like, just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Hater. Real. He discovered his reason for prosecuting, and it turns out it was just pissing Phoenix off. Just like teasing him. I'll find the hole. Yes, I'm sure, Big P. But in terms of popularity, Mr. On Guard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Carito was always one step behind Mr. On Guard in everything. This year, it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Carito lost the Grand Prix in the end. That's too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. On Guard was beating Mr. Carito in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means that he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective, it's not... Well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. Oh my god, ice fucking cold. No! Now, detective, let's continue with the testimony. No. Not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pigeon later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jammin' Ninja's costume. I just got a gift on Steam from one Holiday? How could this be? Oh, yay! The Tyranny RPG. Sweet. I've had that in my I've had that in my fucking in my wish list for a while. You already saw it. Yeah, it popped up. Oh no, I wasn't supposed to see it. The magical dog present is real. My surprise. I mean, it is a surprise. I didn't know it was going to happen. Huh? But can't you tell just by looking at it? Did you at least see Golem? I did see Golem. And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir? All right, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Kurita. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? That you lollygag and you play tricks? Oop. Also, he didn't buy the knife for the crime. It's from the hotel. I'm gonna press all these, but that's definitely what it is. How are the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So this the defendant of the owner of this knife, then? There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Ugh, well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was premeditated, we're done for. Phoenix? Are you stupid? It says Gatewater on the handle. There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Wait a second! What? For the judge to be rash, he would need a modicum of intelligence? Even reheated fried rice is good. Fried rice is so good for, like, in any situation. But, I mean, the judge being fucking rash is just like, I don't know. We heard one person testify twice, didn't examine any evidence any closer. Yeah, he definitely did it. For sure. So the basics of your argument is that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought the knife beforehand? Don't make me go chimp mode on you. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Uh-huh. Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about. Sarsaparilla noises.
Slayer.
Oh, no. My skull. It's Slade. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. I didn't hear bonk, so I was checking the sounds. The bonk is remarkably quiet in comparison to the other ones, but I definitely heard it. And felt it. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. I love just uh-oh. Oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. It would be extremely funny if I somehow set it up so that the sound alerts scaled in volume depending on how many beans you threw into it. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not realize this. But I didn't know... Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Kurita's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, the knife is right there. I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Engarde. Especially what was on top of his table. There's something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Engarde's knife was missing. Yeah, Talibe was telling me about some of the shit she read in the anime subreddit. Fucking some of this shit is crazy. I remember she specifically mentioned that fucking they should like One Piece because they like anime where people are going on a journey, but they hate battle shonen. It's like, what? Huh? Hello? Someone says Frida has no characters experience growth. That's the whole show! It's literally just characters experiencing growth is like the whole main themes of the show. Also, like, characters going on a journey is like half of all media ever created. Mr. Engarde had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife to visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this planned from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints, and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, I'm not gonna show them it doesn't want me. Does Edgeworth want me to reveal the attempted suicide report? Because I'm not doing that. Also, I don't know what Latka is. Oh, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I think. If I'm parsing that correctly. That gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present in this court? I don't want to show these. I mean, there's this, which hasn't been presented. There's this, which we haven't presented. This was stolen, but I don't know if that could be... I don't know if anybody could be convinced that that was related. Important and necessary. I think it's this. It's probably the wine glass, I feel like. Because that's the only thing that was found at the murder scene that we haven't talked about yet. That was, like, weird. But that doesn't... That wouldn't direct... The only thing I can think to is to show this, which would implicate a different person. But the knife had On Guard's fingerprints on it. There's also profiles. Someone requested the perfect anime. What the fuck? I really want to say not right now, because I feel like that's probably the option, but I feel like I'll lose immediately if I do. No, I don't. This has to be another trap. Better if I don't say anything than risk throwing out a bad piece of evidence. Looks like the defense isn't saying a peep on this one. Which means this court is adjourned. Phoenix! We will lose this case if you give up here. So you had better show the judge something. Slow down. We all know I have a tendency to be more wrong more than... I can't even say it. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say one more time, I do not feel the trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. Usual bluffs. It's my whole bar! I just show them this, it's like, the killer is calling me. Phoenix, I'll kill you, don't fuck with me, I'll possess you and make you hang yourself. Well, she can't possess people that aren't spirit mediums. Like, they have to summon her first. Tomato juice! This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. There were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Nick is probably a regular medium. He seems slim and of average height. That's probably true. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is the wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yeah, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth, what is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. Yeah, but why would she do that? She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I don't think so. She's like a very deliberate person. No sign that's been drank, filled with tomato juice. If I appear weak here, the trial's over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. I like Sinclair. Sinclair's pretty good. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned this situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He is just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it's been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints? Monogatari was recommended as the perfect anime? What the fuck? Every time I think of Monogatari, I think of Katanagatari, which is a completely unrelated anime that is actually pretty sick. Well, the whole thing with Monogatari is it's extremely well animated, and the characters are interesting, and the fights are cool, but the entire thing basically entirely revolves around perving on middle schoolers. Like, there's just a, like, it is completely unavoidable from the first episode. There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I said the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Not Andrews's. Yep, it was Andrews's. Hi, Level 1 Cleric. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kurita. That series costs like $2,000 if you want the Blu-rays. Is that just Monogatari? Because there's like 3 of them at least. It's like Monogatari, Bakemonogatari, and then like one other one. Oh, that's the whole thing? Okay. Phoenix is always falling for Edgeworth. I mean, right? No, that's a correct statement. That's correct and true. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard in this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Ooh, wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Well, I feel like he's probably after justice now instead of perfection. So he wants to create the most airtight case he theoretically can, while giving the defense all of the opportunities they could possibly need to prove innocence, if I had to guess. But that does not mean he will not try to build a perfect case. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Justice is Apollo's thing? I mean, it's his last name. And he's a defense attorney, so that makes sense. Bake, Nisa, and Neko in addition to regular Monogatari. Oh, so there's like 4 of them. Witness, your name and occupation. Ugh. Gotcha. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, edgy boy. It's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm gonna tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Phew. Oh! Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps! Yes, ma'am. No, no, no. Please, by all means, interrupt her. Please! Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, edgy boy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean, you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man. Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed on the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to go pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know? Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. He was on guard. Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. So Mr. On Guard came out of the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. And we basically fucked this show, honestly. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show. But I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai show. Heh, I even took out a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Her name is Oldbag, jeez. Yeah, Wendy Oldbag. Besides, that manager with the glasses seems to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door? Something you were interested in. Her name is Wendy Oldbag. Fuck this game. This is a character from the first game. Like the third case or something. Might have been second? No, it was the second case. Because the third case was with Von Karma, right? Fuck all of that. Something you were interested in? And just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Ah, and Edgypoo, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. It looks like we shouldn't force it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Kurita's room? I have no idea! I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class! That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was... Yes, he was... I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Franziska's whip right about now. Well, I guess I could tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yesy. Really? Annoying brat! When I say I saw someone, I saw that person! Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this bit further. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now, what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? The gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket. Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center, too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Well, don't worry, Oldbag. He's probably not going to be a man for long. Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? Actually, it's very important because the button was in his hakama, which he doesn't wear with his normal clothes. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perchance you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important? Don't you? That's why I picked clothes to begin with. Because it's like, it was caught in his hakama, so... And also, it's like, if he was wearing the costume, then how could she prove it was him? Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Are you sure the defendant was wearing a racing jacket? What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he was wearing it. She is so sure of herself that it's to the point of self-absorption. She may not remember things or be mistaken here or there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. Really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has the tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her or interact with her in any way. Miss Oldbag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah! It's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume! Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Also, you can tell it's a Japanese fucking game in that particular aspect. Because... No, that's not it. Where is it? She counted from right to left. Top right would be number 1 in this situation. Cause like if it was someone who like read left to right, I feel like they would probably call this one number 1. I just think that's interesting. Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Wow. She really is a diehard fan who would want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Enguarde's body during a full body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Enguarde. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants. See? See? And Enguarde is the nickel samurai. Witness... Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say the defendant, Matt Enguarde, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Ah. I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress that I made, but I have to do the ridiculous. I was going to tape recorder. It's heavy, so heavy. I wish I could switch to CD's agent and go keep that dream alive for all the kids out there. I work so hard with my. Don't you understand? Now look in the mirror. You can't go. You said JD Poot. He's got style. Now. Hold your tongue still for 1 second. So, what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Enguarde, the man. But Mr. Enguarde, the nickel samurai. But when you think about it... They're really one and the same anyway. We did this in the last fucking thing you were a part of. Somebody else just wore the fucking costume. That's why it's the first thing, yeah. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. We should get one of those array guns. I have one. I think I have a little keychain one. It's not like, you know, gun-sized, but it does go pew pew pew. Oh, the ones that spark and make a little noise? Those are fun. Edgy Poo, don't you think so too? Well, it might be in something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. This is the reason we could never agree on an apartment to rent. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Enguarde. Yeah, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume while he was stabbing poor Juan. I mean, why would you? You get blood on it, whatever. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. but the possibility does exist. Ah, youngins today. I told you, there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so. And what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful as a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Would you please get on with your testimony? Huh! Watch your language, young man. What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? A striking figure by the sea, standing all alone is he. He's the Nickel Samurai. She's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and just stick to the facts. Okay! You promise, right? Right? I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? I mean, he's on his way. You can only really become a judge by being a lawyer first. See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? I got an achievement for that. And why would that be? That way, no one could see his face, of course, but there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Is that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included the Jammin' Ninja? Of course it included him. That's why when On Guard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai? As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in her testimony, and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. Well, I'd have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. Nickel Samurai confessed something at post-ceremony show. Empty Ben Carito's fingerprints, tomato juice, murder scene. Nickel Samurai convenient to wear the costume during the murder. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. Must have worn when he was stabbing poor Juan. Isn't there this? I guess. Bonking me. An obvious contradiction. Teeps has arrived. Yahoo Teeps! Bonking me on the fucking head. 8:15. Unguards Hakama. Strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. Well, we'll see if I'm doing it goodly after I try to figure out what the obvious contradiction is. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show after the crime. He must have worn it when he was stabbing Juan. What was this? Scheduled all the contestants, Jammin' Ninja. I feel like it's this. Nickel Samurai. Like, why would he kill him before a stage show where they're all supposed to show up? Why was he going to confess something? It was right across the hall. Looked good animation-wise, but I watched 3 episodes of the first series. Like, I hate this. It sucks. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it has Unguard's fingerprints on it, which I think is probably an issue, but I guess he used it for dinner, so I don't know if that's a real thing. Also, there's nothing really to... Convenient for him to wear it during the murder. Nickel Samurai I saw. Right after the crime. Don't have to think... There's a contradiction. Yeah, I don't know what the contradiction is specifically, because she's being so vague. Would it have been convenient? Plays Nickel Samurai, Hotshot Star, Jammin' Ninja. I mean, I guess this is, like, I guess this is kind of a contradiction, because he stabbed him only once, and he strangled him specifically, but I don't think that really has anything to stand on. He was gonna confess something after it. Gossip Land. Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like I'm just gonna fucking... I'm gonna have to just go with a shot in the dark. Nope, that wasn't it. Attorney badge time. Fuck. I'm so confused. He must have worn it. It's post-stage show right after the crime. No. My whole life! God damn it! I'm so confused. What do they want me to do here? Had to go post-stage show right after the thing. On guard's fingerprints. Do I just go for the fingerprints thing? Think with your smooth-ass brain. Okay, so it was the fingerprints thing, even though he used it to eat. That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to the case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. On Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous... Okay, so there we go. All previous fingerprints on the knife right off. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, and he has like a robot claw hand also. He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. Why would he do that? And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There is no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder, but he brought the knife. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? Yeah, there's a contradiction. The theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. Because of the knife. This knife. This was used by Mr. On Guard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. One more thing. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer. That's not a point, that's a theory. To hide their real identity and mislead us. Order! Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Matt on guard, obviously. It's to frame my client, Mr. On Guard, of course. To frame... aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Ugh. Witness! It looks like I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. On Guard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then. Who were you waiting around for then? Huh. That's top secret to anyone outside of security. Well, it was Andrews. She was waiting for Andrews. I have a feeling you were waiting for... Well, I mean, I guess she could be waiting for Mr. Juan Carita, but she also was talking about gossip before. Am I correct, witness? Ha ha ha! The way you think you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Carita. Maybe the Old Bag was waiting around for that person. If that's what I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Old Bag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. On Guard's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is... Well, this is... Huh. I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Huh. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sword to confidentiality stuff then. Witness? What in the world are you... Watch out, Phoenix. I got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this, however, I simply cannot let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready! This is gonna take the wind out of you youngins! I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. That Angard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. Anyways, I'm about to go crazy sicko, and if someone doesn't tell me what happened in the case so far, if I accidentally spoil something, I'm ending it all. It was literally, we had Gumshoe come up, we talked about stuff, we had Wendy Oldbag come up, she accused On Guard directly. It was really just establishing evidence, and now she's kind of just, like, going crazy. And not that much has happened. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get close with Juan. I cannot condone such a dirty tricks, so I took action. We talked about, like, one thing because she presses every statement even when she knows the answer. Well, yes, obviously. You think I'm gonna miss out on more dialogue? Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? That's not true. The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for the court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, and what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. A lot of Hardison investigations too, so much. I hate her. Well, they brought her back because she's a fan favorite. So maybe you're just wrong. Have you considered that? So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right! On guard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true! That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan! Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss A.A. But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossip Land. What? Are you saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? Huh. What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% truth. I mean, that's fair, I guess. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Discriminate? When did I do anything like that? Udis using a word I've never even seen before? What word is that? Freak. She's just from ancient Greece. Leave her alone. Anyway, on guard will never get me to say touche. Expostulation. Okay, fair enough. That's a pretty significant one. A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No. I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, I have to look up expostulation now. I'm pretty sure I know what it means, but I want to double check. The act of expostulating or reasoning with a person in opposition to some impropriety of conduct, remonstrance, earnest and kindly protest, discussion, dissuasion. So it's basically just like, hey, can you fucking stop? Can you cease? Because you're doing some dumb bullshit right now. The Odyssey had a meaning. It did. I might already have the Cowboy Bebop LP. That's crazy. The meaning is I want to kiss Otis. Well, that's a correct response to seeing Otis. Well, that on guard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. You don't have any proof that Mr. On Guard did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock. The shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right. I can't do anything, but boy, do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny. Show me what you got. Can you show me proof that On Guard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? I mean, I have something, right? I mean, doesn't it just say it in his profile? No, I guess not. Me, the fan favorite Deeps, has a monopoly on popularity in chat. See, he was on bad terms with On Guard. On Guard just says rivals with the Jammin' Ninja, which is not helpful. I don't think I've ever used the Odyssey had meaning ego. It's just her first one. I think it's like the journey had to be worth something in translated or something. It's a pretty solid ego. It's one of the ones with the highest clash power you have early on. No ill will. Snag, Harper, and then Gregor's a lot for the first ones. I actually don't know what Gregor's even is. I also have no other Otis egos because Limbus hates my ass. Oh, that sucks! Some of Otis's egos are just crazy good. I don't know. I could have sworn I had something that could prove this, but I don't really have any. I don't really have anything. And suddenly my arm changed. That makes sense. I just don't know what it does, is all. I don't have any proof. I feel like I'm supposed to present. Fuck, damn it. I accidentally choose present. Heh, there's many a man who've said those exact words and paid dearly for them. 6 of a random status. Interesting. Well, maybe you should brace yourself this time. Here's my proof that Mr. On Guard did not hold any ill will towards the victim. Do I have any of that? Because I feel like I don't. I just accidentally picked it. I could present his... I feel like this doesn't prove anything. This also doesn't prove anything. I'm just gonna go with this, I guess. So you can give me that jagged-headed baboon boy a message for me, please? Tell him that no matter what he does, the only thing he's good at is failing. What she said, right? Or should I say, baboon boy? Yes, I agree this isn't much of a piece of evidence. Baboon boy. Did I just gain a new nickname here? You've just given me a free pass to say whatever I want, whenever I want, silly boy. Me and my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles. For you, anyway. So, what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was gonna capture her and teach her a good lesson. Something you youngins need. Ebony Stem and Buddhist Otis, which I cannot type out. Yeah. I don't have Ebony Stem. You were going to teach her a good lesson? I was gonna make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this. No, stop! Well, it was too bad the woman didn't come through the door that night. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me. Ugh, what do I have to do with this? Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless bat blabbering? As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Where did Old Bat here get her inside information? There has to be something I can use to figure it out. Seems like just another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. Miss Oldbag, I love men. I need you to know this. Well, I don't think I've really heard anything out of the ordinary just now. Well, it's gotta be the fucking... the last thing there. I think either she got it from just the article, but we already presented that, so it's probably from, it's probably from, Lotta Heart, if I had to guess. Because Lotta said the same thing. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? Well, why are you looking at me like that? Stop it! Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? Oh no, it was the stolen Lotta. It was Camera. The Camera had the fucking tabloid article in it. That's what it was. So he did learn it. She did learn it from Lotta, but not directly. The investigative photographer Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. Evil, horrible villains, the gayest prosecutor in existence, and also some vampires. Which are not always evil. Like, I'm pretty sure Alucard has a cravat, and he's just kind of funny. On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then... But they are gay. That is true. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Then you're the one who took Miss Hart's note? I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil on guard. She said so herself. On guard, I'm his sidekick. Somebody kill her. Get the ray gun on her. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Boo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Fuck no! If I let up on her now, she'll get away. She stole that fucking camera. That shit was expensive. I have to find a way to, some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from a lonely, terrible, lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. That's the whole camera. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. Ellie has appeared and become a loaf. That's so powerful. I'm so proud of her and her abilities. She kept saying something like, my sweet $1,600 camera disappeared on me. Why? Witness? What is it, Gramps? Return to loaf. Become part of soil. If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera, too. Yeah. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera that you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals unlike you, fall in love... like you, not unlike you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. Me playing video games, to be honest. I love anything that lets me open, lock things, or steal stuff. It's just so fun. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and when I noticed what it said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire, well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once. Kate would love Kate, what the assistant in investigations? Because she does look cute. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you. That's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, for one, the person in the costume is shorter than the fucking, than on guard, because the pants are crumpled around the bottom. Second, it looks like the robot arm is, like, tucked into the pants or something. Mostly the crumpled, like, Hakama. I can't fucking believe you caught that. Why, remember the first case where this shit happened? Those Hakama are way too long. They're supposed to go to your ankles. Of course, you want to play the games chronologically. Investing comes after the trilogy, then Apollo Justice Collection. Well, I just gotta get the Investigations trilogy, then. I thought they were supposed to look like that. No, they usually come up, like, slightly above your ankles, so you can usually see the whole foot. It's for range of motion. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Engarde clearly stated that, at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is... Speaking of range of motion, I wasted another pair of pants today. Oh my god, you are ripping through these. My goodness. The defendant. Because my wallet is beaten more than a professional BDSM sub. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive? No, I don't. If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew it was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. I don't know about that, it's just a picture. The bunker buster would basically go right through it. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? That's right, I have a bomb. And I'm listening to Homura's Code of Ethic, and that tells me I should blow it up. Homura is speaking in my ear right now. Madoka's begging me not to, but Homura, she has so many guns. I have to be just like her. I have to blow up the bomb. Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo. Phoenix wouldn't say that. No, he wouldn't. He doesn't understand slang. Then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? Down here. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And? What does that mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engarde. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. I knew the poster was gonna come up. So yeah, they go up to your ankles-ish around. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the Hakama. Really, they should be raised a little more in this picture just because he's spreading his legs. But, you know. His socks! You could see his socks! Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his Hakama up just to walk. Rupture is a cool ability. I wish leveling up wasn't fucking miserable in this game. He has said our real quote, I assure you, is quite based. I mean, isn't that the beginning of a sentence? It's not like a whole statement. He was saying it's based on evidence. Yeah, that's what I figured. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. It was Wendy Oldbag. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? I mean, if Engarde said he was in his costume at the time of the murder, then this does contradict his own statement, which is not great. Your Honor, I want to go on the record and say, nuh-uh, not true, disagree, and then very quietly, I would like to say Monka S. Where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Engarde, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that this person inside this costume is not Matt Engarde. In that case, who is that photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph? I'm more likely than not, I feel like I'm supposed to say Adrian. I don't think it's her, but I feel like that's the only one I could reasonably throw evidence at. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engarde's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engarde that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Engarde's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. Well, not really. It was used as a defiling the body after a murder weapon. So, sure. Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. It's my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Mrs. Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Carita. I miss Francisca. We all do. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. And now after this, we're gonna have to save Miss Andrews from being jailed for murder. Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to the court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? They're just about to adjourn the court. I object. Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not... I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan. Even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. All according to plan. She is the next witness. Burn was the status you missed earlier. Ah, Burn is really good. It can't quite deliver the enormous fucking damage that Bleed can, but it is still really good. And there's a lot of unique versions of it, too. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle's far from over. Exactly. Tremor, Rupture, or Bleed. Rupture is really good. Rupture is like the most guaranteed damage you can get. It's like if you hit this person again, they will take this damage. But Bleed is also really good because it just happens whenever somebody does an action. So it can more guaranteed damage than Rupture does, but it's hard to keep the number up, which some characters care about. Have some good burn units. I know Liu, who was she? Liu, fuck. What is her name? Liu Ishmael. Fucking, Liu Ishmael fucking, was my preferred Liu before I got Captain Ishmael. She's the one I fought the middle brother with. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Oh, and on Bleed and Tremor. That's fair. You really gotta go just like with it, whatever you have the most characters for. You have to have a lot of different characters to do separate teams. Because I think I literally just built a full charge and full poise team like the other day. And I've been playing for a while. And the poise team isn't even really that optimal. March 22nd, because I don't have or my charge team isn't that optimal because I don't have Reindeer Ishmael, who's like the best charge Ishmael available. But Captain Ishmael is good in literally any team, so it doesn't matter that much. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. Courier, Faust, and Don, and Mechanic Raja. Mechanic Raja is really good. She also does Tremor, I believe. So after the ceremony, during the break, huh? He's just sleeping in his costume. I was sleeping like a log the entire time. Yeah, I should definitely swap in Mechanic Raja in my charge team, because currently I just have Catholic Raja, who's like really good in every team just because she's a crazy tank, but... See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button on your Hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up. Catholic Raja? All the characters that are, like, dressed like priests, they all are, like, fist fighters, but they're also, like, really, really good tank and sinking units. But they're just all dressed like Catholic priests. Or just priests in general. I don't know if I have any of them. They're pretty fun. I think it's just Honglu, Raja, and one other character. And and Yi Sang. Yeah. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Carita. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impax's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impax as her strength and reason to live. I don't think I had enough to eat before stream. It's very sad. The Catholic guilt makes them punch harder. What I actually think is really funny is that in lore, all of that unit's whole thing is they try to learn as many facts and, like, as much information as physically possible. Because they use the difference between their own and their target's knowledge to increase their strength, like, in, like exponentially to the difference. So, like, all of the moves are just like, you're fucking stupid and I'm punching you. But then Miss Impax suddenly killed herself. It doesn't sound like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Carita, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Carita. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Dude, where did you get those gains? The library. Also, Radia's CG for that identity, especially the first one, is really cute because it's just her, like, sneaking snacks into the library. Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependencies issues with regards to Miss Impax. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. March 22nd, 2:25 p.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 3. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. A lot of her CGs are just her being tall and cute and snacking. Look, Radia's not my favorite character. Not my favorite sinner in fucking, in Limbus. But, like, if I was any of them, I would be Radia. I am always just being tall and cute and snacking. Though I'm not an axe person. I understand the logistical, like, superiority of axes, but they're not really my style, you know? Okay, with a bad opinion, who would have thought? If I was any of them, I would be Faust or Otis. I'm the fun place. Well, I love both Faust and Otis, so that tracks. Well, Kate with a bad opinion. Who would have thought? I don't dislike axes. They're just not my style. I'm more of a ranged weapons type girl. Like, if I could have anything, I would probably have a little, like a revolver or something. But if it had to be a melee weapon, probably like a stick or some kind of... Probably like a halberd of some variety, like Sinclair. Which, if you think about it, is even more practical than an axe. I'd be Ryoshu because I'd just be saying shit. Oh, I know, and we would be best buddies. Feminize her. I mean, Sinclair is definitely getting force-femmed at some point. There's no denying this. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Carita's room. Ryoshu's when she's bored. Real. What is your occupation? Faust also? Well, Faust has the technology. Ryoshu just has the spirit. And the murderous intent. But that's not super necessary, it's just a bonus. I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Engarde. I see. Now then, before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of the certain weekly magazine, recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge were ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us all about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Carita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. Gregor would also make an awesome T-girl. So fucking true. If Gregor was a woman, 100% would be on my team the entire game. Literally no question. So it was a fry and bait matter? Or was that a bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I mean, I'm quite literally doing that right now. Gregor would just be Anko if he was a woman? Yes, and that would be awesome. How could anyone deny that that would not... How could anyone deny that that would be awesome? I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. She's a fucking deranged detective woman from Call of the Night, which I think was a good manga when it started, but like all of that artist's mangas, it all resulted in just kind of like devolving into all of these older women want to get with this middle schooler. Even though like there's a fun little bonus in the shape of a detective woman who at one point was in like a lesbian situationship with the main vampire, but that's just never but that's just never really touched on, besides her occasionally being like, hey, we should get together again. That'd be kind of cool. Is Domino's okay? Yeah, Domino's is fine. For sure. I wish I was a vampire. People always said being a vampire would be cool. It's not really my steez. About what happened to you when you discovered the murder that had taken place. You're already pale as shit. I am. It's like, do I want to be immortal and drink blood? It's like, no, blood kind of makes me squeamish, actually. It seems kind of gross. Though I would be kind of cold, so I'd probably be able to handle the heat better, which I would appreciate. I want to be a werewolf. I also want you to be a werewolf. That would be kind of fucking epic, to be honest. Werewolves? Kinda hot. I know this is a shocking take, but kinda hot. Shut up, cat. What? It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. Stay in your fucking lane and cough up your own hair. I don't want to do that no more. 3 dogs alone with a vampire. Oh no, don't overpower me. Actually, Holiday, I'm not so keen on Domino's. Like, not as much as as something else. If you still want Domino's, that's fine. But I'm not really, we had it pretty recently, so I'm not really keen. It's the only food I have that I have the app got. Do you want me to open up my phone so you can use my apps? Because I have a few. Not like a ton, but like I have a few. I have it open in here if you want to come in. You hate making decisions. I mean, I only have the only ones I have are like these. I uninstalled the other ones. Get Taco Bell. No, Taco Bell's only appeal was that it was cheap, and that never got me to go there anyway, and now it's expensive. So, like, no. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Why didn't you leave? McDonald's has the Genshin Impact meal. What does that mean? We'll give you a random... We'll charge you $20, and you'll get a random food item. They have Yu-Gi-Oh toys at mine. They had the Yu-Gi-Oh ones at the one near me also, and I'm just like, I really want Dark Magician Girl and Slifer the Sky Dragon. Because that's My Melody and Kuromi, and and we definitely shouldn't separate them. Who fucking wants this? Me. I think they're cute. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. Also, can I just say... Not a wine glass. It looks like a fucking, like... It looks like a vase for plants. Not a wine glass. You get a random burger that might be a fillet of fish if you're unlucky. Yeah, basically. Gives a fat flying fuck about the new Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I mean, some of the new Yu-Gi-Oh stuff is cool, but it's like none of it is as iconic as the old shit. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness, Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. The Genshin meal comes with in-game items. Where's my Zazazazaz meal that lets me get the fucking funny samurai fox? Beto is there. Oh my god, finally, a confirmed way to get parried pirate, or whatever her thing is. I just know she has a big sword and she does lightning. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. I like the magical variants of Yu-Gi-Oh! Care about nothing else. Beto! Yeah, it's like, honestly. It's like Genshin Impact, who gives a fuck? Pirate? That's kind of fun. I'm gonna give you the phone back. Please construct your 2-for-2 meal. I wish it was fucking 2-for-2. My goodness. Who don't give a shit about an anime from fucking 20 years ago. Are you sure about that? Let me put my fucking stuff on here. You're actually smoking straight brick. I'm sorry to have everyone just listen to me ordering food on my phone right now. But that's what the stream has become. Kids couldn't give 2 fucking shits about this shitty card game. We all love shitty card games so much. I legitimately miss the McDonald's sauce. Also, this is not an ad for McDonald's. I was just starving. So I needed to consume something. And this is like fast and cheap. Halibay. The food is on there. It's a Happy Meal toy for fucking children, idiot. And the Happy Meal toys these days are not even toys. Like this is a tiny plush on a like a little keychain. I remember back in my day, they had the rocket power toys with the magnets in the shoes, like the little guys, so you could attach them to different sport stuff. It was awesome. But Holiday, I have my stuff on there whenever you want to come in. Had all the Inspector Gadget toys. Didn't you get to put them? Yeah, you put him together and he became a whole guy. That was kind of cool. We saw that in not an antique store, but like a collectible store once. I think I had just an arm. She's the type of woman who's easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understood? Crystal says a 5 for 6 meal. It used to be 5 for 5, and now if you want the chicken sliders, it makes it $3 more. What the fuck? I remember seeing ads for the McDonald's like, oh, it's 5 for 5, and it was like, it seemed like it was a pretty good deal. If you want something if you want a burger instead of like the fucking previously $1 like chicken sandwich, it's $6. It's like, what? Huh? What the fuck is going on? Anyway, sorry for the fucking extremely long sidetrack. And what was Mr. On Guard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. Who goes to McCrossnells for chicken? I like the nuggets, but I think that's more of nostalgia than anything else. And also I don't want to get just like, it's like the 2 for 4 thing. And I don't want to get 2 burgers. That's not a Sammy. No, it is not. I get a burger and nuggets, generally, because it's cheap as fuck. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. On Guard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say that it could have not been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? What are you... Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. On Guard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Fuck you, Teeps. Die. Stop trying to kill each other in my chat. I'll have the ghosts come after you. No free coffee for anyone who's starting fights. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? I don't drink coffee anyway. Oh yeah, I guess you didn't have some of my delicious coffee beverage. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? Floridians don't scare me, I live in Georgia. Everybody just suddenly backs off. It's like, oh yeah, we don't want to fuck with that. You live in Georgia? The apocalypse zone? Oh, I can visit Teeps. Yay! Yeah, we theoretically could visit Teeps also. Anyone could. Now that we know Teeps' exact address. You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? I like Teeps, so I wanna. Yeah, I get that. How could you not, honestly? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got into his room? You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. I don't know. Maybe she's a freak. Maybe she's an Ubel type. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. Thank you, Phoenix. I see. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? Juice? What? Oh, you need this. Oh, okay. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down. Without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Kurita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Meow? 6 shots! More than enough to spin around in a little circle. Aren't you being rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. You could put on, like, the cover armor from Bloodborne and Astrobot. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty easy armor set to get, too. As the player costume. That makes sense. It is kind of cruel of PlayStation to be like, you guys remember Bloodborne? You like Bloodborne, right? It's like, yeah. Can we get another one of those or something? There's also Parappa the Rapper. Jesus. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? It's not Lammy, so who cares? Yeah, there's no lesbians in that game. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. So the flower vase wasn't even broken when she got there. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one in the floor in the crime photo? Yeah, so the only things that actually were knocked off are the makeup. Like, it's just the makeup that fell off the table. Because, like, the guitar case only had his fingerprints on it, so he probably opened it. The flower vase Andrews accidentally broke. The makeup fell off somehow. It's like that's just that there's nothing really besides the makeup that even proves that something was a struggle. When I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Objection, fuck you, LMAO. My goodness, thank God the donation pop-up censored fuck. What if somebody said fuck in this chat? That would be so sad. In my Christian stream. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? Also, what she just said means that the guitar case was closed when she got there because it landed on the guitar case and got it wet. I'm sorry. I thought that since this crime scene was already in a disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. They did. That's the problem. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser. And that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she'd like people to think. Make the Meow 800 beans? No. The Meow is a premium item. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned you earlier she would not crack so easily. So you bonk me instead? I guess it wasn't you. But I am being bonked, which is cruel. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're gonna catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. Okay. I'm pretty sure I just need to present the guitar case. Does it say it's on the lid? Yeah, top of the lid. Oh, so you hate me and you want me to die. Not true. But if you did become a ghost, you're welcome to come work at the cafe. Just saying. We can still hang out. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that were true, the case would have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. Working at a cafe, talking to people, just send me to hell instead? Well, you don't have to talk to people. You're a ghost. You can just ignore everyone. Like, you don't even have to make coffee. You can just, I don't know, you can, like, sweep up stuff or something. You don't even have to work here. You can just hang out. I just figured I'd offer if you're dead. Usually dead people are pretty bored. Ah. What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. I would be an evil spirit, and you know it. Evil spirits also welcome. Just don't try any dark magics, that's all. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? My religious whimsy would straight up kill. I said no dark magic. It seems that there's no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Yeah. Yep. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Huh. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along, for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for how I opened the case, even I don't know. Even she doesn't know. She has no idea why she opened it. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. I just realized the card she's twirling. Yeah, it's the one in the same room where Maya is kept. Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Edgeworth, are you trying to top tonight? Like, what's going on? During your testimony just now, did you remember these events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. They replaced the Yu-Gi-Oh toys with Crocs toys. That's so funny. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. I'll never get Kuromi and My Melody together anymore. They can't ever be together. It's so sad. At least not in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes. Well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought, maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. Or maybe a suicide note was in there, maybe? How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Colin on my dash. Colin Honkai Impact 3rd? I love that gay nun. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. Murdering your stupid ass. What? That's the first Colin I think of. Colin Kozlana, ancestor of Kiana Kozlana. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence, so I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record waiting to be found. You think it's just the suicide note thing? Fuck, damn it. Shit. I guess it's not a contradiction. That would just be like... Why'd she open the case? After I knocked the vase over. Oh no, because it doesn't have her fingerprints on it. That's what it is. She doesn't have it doesn't have her fingerprints on it. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? Don't say you were wearing gloves, because I have your prints on the fucking glass. Fucking gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's kind of weird. Arm-length gloves are so... Yeah, I get it. You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? The glass that you left prints on? I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Ah. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself the glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ugh. Oh, her glasses exploded. That's... Oh, she has an extra pair. It's fine. I can't believe her glasses fucking exploded. That's crazy. Order, order, order. Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the bright red guitar was at the studio. You can keep other things in cases, Phoenix. Just because that's not what it's meant for. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case that it was not the bright red guitar? You don't mean... It was a bright white guitar? Oh my fucking god, Phoenix. Wait, that's not right either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us to why the guitar case has anything to do at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well... Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar would... So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Can we introduce a special guest voicer to help your throat? Maybe? I don't know. Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proved anything yet. It's your stream. I mean, if I'm only doing this as one of the, the one I'm doing a lot of voices for, it's not great. It's not bad at all. Like, I don't have any issue with it. It was just because I was doing Layton and this at the same time. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? The suicide note, if I had to guess. And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one? Why, Mr. Wright, why? Well, I just thought it might have been possible. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be? And never bring it out again. But I thought that was right. Can't a foolishly foolish fool get some love? Okay, what was inside of the case? The camera... Map of the gates are... photo there. Oh, I think I know. The murder scene. Glass. Guide map. Magazine clipping. Camera. It's the attorney badge. Fuck, you're so right. I thought I almost presented that by accident. It was her body. It might have been the knife, but I don't think so. What do you know was in the room for sure? That left it. Oh, right! There was, because he was wearing the costume, so she wouldn't have been able to take it off. But if he brought a spare... But how would I present that? I'm gonna say the Nickel Samurai. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what's in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Because he was wearing the costume, so bringing a spare fucking... Yeah. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Kirito was gonna use it to pose as the Nickel Samurai to confess something because he had a bad relationship with him. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, are you saying the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? I'm a fucking idiot. Oh no! What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. I love Faust. Yeah, hell fucking yes. This is a Faust-loving location. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! It looks like we wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt on guards. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spare costume. Mr. Angard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought up this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... My brace. Oh. Holobay has returned with food. And, she has fiendishly taken a bite of one of my nuggets. With great fiendishness. Several bites. Oh my god, she had several bites of my nuggets. Hell world. Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Yeah. Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said that he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt on Guard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that is not a confession. That's public disclosure. Well, yeah, he was lying. Miss Andrews? I can see why you're pros at what you can do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. Another nugget bite. I hope it's not too audible. I'm just very hungry. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the Jammin Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had it in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. Chew directly into the mic. It'll manifest the mukbang freaks. I don't want them here. At least not for listening to me chew. They can hang out for other reasons. What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. On Guards is, Miss Andrews? What the fuck even is that? Mukbang is just a video where someone chews loudly into the mic. Basically. It's like they just eat a meal very loudly and a lot of the times on camera. Yeah, I don't get it. That would freak me out. I'd like, ugh, ooh, ugh. That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. Oh, I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. On Guard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife, but I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We are finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. I have to save before this one, because if I present anything, and it's wrong, I am going to lose. I'm going to instantly lose. Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. Ugh. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think those 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember. Jesus Christ. May I continue now? So would you say this need came from the press conference? Growing the audience by any means possible. Teeps will do anything to make sure I become an influencer. Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in the hotel for that conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on Guard. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Just post pics of Lily? See, there's an idea. Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. On Guard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? The beeper. Anyway, the important thing here is that the information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Has Mr. On Guard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Kirito with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. On Guard, yet you still helped out. Objection! The person on trial right now is Mr. On Guard, right? Oh fuck, the evil kitty gif? The biter. What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. On Guard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. On Guard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying, but I find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He is glaring at you, smart guy! Shut your hole, motherfucker. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim had his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. The only thing that fell off of the table during the supposed fight was the makeup. The vase somehow did not fall over, which seems like the most wobbly thing of all of them. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Really? It looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Mrs. Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add for this information to your testimony. Torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know this case down to such fine detail? Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you're not. Ugh, and I thought I had her for this time for sure. Well, I mean, it definitely wasn't pulled off during the fight, because it has a bunch of fucking blood on it. Like, if you see the crime photo, the blood is under the fucking thing. So I imagine it probably bled a lot after, rather than during the murder. I'm gonna save, because I can't heal my reputation with the court very quickly. And I'll load. That was a loss right there. Torn off Juan during his fight with Matt. Hey, the music is still playing, pussy. That's how you know that you lost. The music stops when you get it right. Real with a scarf, stabbed with a knife. Let me see it again. How do you know that? Ends of the threads. Know this case down to fine detail. Had her this time for sure. Trip her up on it. It has to be there, but where and what? But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. On Guard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. On Guard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. And please stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You'll need strong, decisive evidence. Yeah. Somebody kill him. During that fight with Matt. Hmm. No. What's the one thing? Say the little ticket doodad? It's that's a ticket to the show where Juan was gonna have the Nickel Samurai confess something to the crowd. I'm just kind of grasping at straws here. Nope. As soon as he says something generic like that, you know you got it wrong. So it's not that. It's not this picture. It's not that. I think it's a time for attorney badge. I don't know if we're there yet. Article cost of land. Nickel Samurai. Glossy photo. Button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. Well, what do I have that could refute that? He didn't have an alibi. Button was torn off. I felt like she had to protect him. It's not this. Yeah. I have no idea what they want me to do with this. They always say that the testimony is wishy-washy when I have no fucking idea what I'm meant to be doing. Feeling that Matt was the murderer. I know what his motive was. I don't have any ways to prove it. He didn't have an alibi. Button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. How do you know that? When they mash up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Heard that before. Why would she know about the case? Don't, because she's prepared and I'm not. Thought I had her this. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? Or do they just mean... Do they just mean in the general testimony? They didn't mean that specific statement? He didn't have an alibi. Button was torn off. Was ripped from his costume, covered in Karita's blood. Strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. Does it hurt you, betray you personally? Why do you ask? None of our concern. Why do I keep doing this to myself? She has said that he was taking a nap, but she can't account for him for the whole time. No flaws. Button was torn off of Juan. I feel like it's gotta be this line, but I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to present for it. Because I already did the button and the murder scene. I did the knife. I also did this. Oh no, because he strangled him from behind. God damn it. It was because he strangled him from behind, so he wouldn't have ripped the fucking thing. Yeah. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume when? Okay, well, yeah, that was what I was trying to do by showing the button. Fucking goddammit. After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ugh. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. I think I should have gotten that for showing the button. I was going the same way. I just wasn't going to talk about the strangulation. I was going to be, this was like, pulled out well after they were stabbed. What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted with this button? Yes. To pin it on guard. They put it in their pants. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up by the real killer, of course. D-killer, you might say. And the real murder is... The real murder is? You mean murderer? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard is... I'm gonna lose, aren't I? If I lose, I'm ending the stream. I mean, do I just say Adrian Andrews again? Because I feel like that's where we're going. Yeah. That's like, why did they even ask? I already accused her. Miss Adrian Andrews. I mean, I'm going to end the stream soon anyway, because I desperately need to eat food, and I have it right here, and I'm just kind of staring at it. I choose you! You are Mr. Kurita's killer. What? Explodes my glasses in surprise? Order, order, order. Mr. Wright, just eat and play. I don't want to eat. I don't want to play and talk with my mouth full. I gotta voice act all these fucking characters. Her bell bottoms. I do love her. I do love bell bottoms so much. What the fuck? I thought you wanted to eat right now. I do. That's why I'm ending the stream as soon as possible. I was just in the middle of something. I also don't like eating on stream, so I was trying to find a good place to end it soon. That's all. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? You're gonna eat while streaming? I was trying to find a time. I was trying to find a time to eat. I was trying to, but it's like there's so much talking. I don't know. Can't even get through a single trial day in a full stream. I didn't eat enough. Always ending early when I actually show up. People, she fucking hates me. Oh. Just go unless your voice is hurting. I was just gonna fucking... I just wanted to end stream soon, you know? I wanted to have food. You gotta eat, you're a working woman. Alba. Alba. All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Slapping music to keep us occupied. That's true. Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. Okay, I'm gonna turn the music up and I'm gonna eat real fast. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I fucking ate food as fast as I could. I consumed burger and nuggets at such speed, with such ferocity. I also grabbed my water, so I can be fully watered. And I come back and Teeps is beating me with fish. Rude. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. Just so everyone knows, this is maybe 10 seconds faster than her usual speed, which is it's extreme speed. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Food Geyer. Then, what about the button that was found on Matt's Hakama? We've been over this. This button was removed from the victim's body after he'd already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence into his own Hakama. Ugh. Goddamn, she is going through these. Being Matt On Guard's assistant must pay really well. That's a lot of glasses. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap. Drink the Urple slop? I will. I don't do that on stream. It's really loud. Which is you yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Edgard. He would be much too short for his own costume if this was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. She's pleading the fucking fifth. Honestly, queen shit move. Well, yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with ways to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony could cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Really? Have you never watched a crime show? Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. On Guard's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Does Japan have the Fifth Amendment? Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done. What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What's so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? No. But in public opinion, yes. Maybe so or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what do we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true! In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial? Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It's not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. Well, he's friend. He's literally been helping us the whole trial. Sure, he's stopping us from doing pointless bullshit, but he is leading us in the correct direction. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked in the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Oh, the. I mean, that makes more sense than seeing the dead body from the doorway and then pouring yourself some juice and putting it by the fucking table. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Does it? It makes more sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. He should have blood on him, like, and a gold knife sticking out of his chest at this point. But, like, it makes more sense. I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. You can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I was surprised when I walked in the room. So, it was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Kurita? I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then what did you see next, witness? Slumped over? Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Yeah, because I mean... I guess he is slumped over, but he's slumped over towards the door. Like that. I don't know. He also wasn't in a corner. Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix, and then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap sitting completely straight. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all. You thought he fainted? I thought he was asleep at first, but then the room was in such a messy state, I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice. Yes, he always had a hard time waking up, so Juan has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. And after that, what happened next? And how did you come to realize that he was, in fact, dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards and knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to. Huh? This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now's our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? I'm just gonna save real quick before I start presenting stuff. Okay, I guess that wasn't it. I figured the picture of him dead would make it clear that if he was sitting there not in the corner and all bloody, then no one would think he was asleep. Really? Kurita clearly opened the thing. So I figured it would go on it would be open already. Whatever. Was he really in the corner? He was slumped over and tired looking. How is that didn't cross my mind? Thought he'd fainted or something. Bam, bam, bam. Down, down, down. No. I'm not sure what I'm meant to be doing here. I'm just saying there was a golden knife sticking out of his chest. The fact that the idea that she didn't notice that is kind of ludicrous. Isn't it the picture of the body because I didn't think he was dead? Maybe? I guess it is. Because Phoenix specifically pointed out that specific statement where she said it's like he was slumped over tired in the corner. But that might have been, he might have said that to the other thing? I don't know. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? Because that's what I was trying to, like, prove with the following statement. But I guess I was just on the wrong statement? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. Ah! What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. Well, you see... I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is... Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. Ugh. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you're the real killer. No. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt on guard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. Dinking moment. Water moment. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so is that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly... Applicant deemed earlier, but no water. I had beverage. That's almost water. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Engarde's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I'd like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Engarde. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. I mean, I think you can declare that Matt Engarde is not guilty. That would be kind of cool. We can have a different trial for her. Ooh, what? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness? Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Engarde will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Engarde will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging onto them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority. It wasn't me! I'm begging you, please believe me! I didn't kill Juan! Help, please, someone, help me! Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this, therefore I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right? I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who is the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except that woman crying over there. Right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Sad women are above the law. We know this. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Engarde would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Uh-oh. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. Time for Edgeworth's coldest moment ever. Oh yeah, he's 100% gonna throw out the fact that she attempted suicide. Like, immediately. Like, the exact thing she begged me not to reveal. Which I have very specifically not been revealing. Not even that. Oh, it's just like, she can't live by herself or whatever. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. Why is what's Shy Samus here ill with? I think she probably has some kind of severe anxiety disorder, if I had to guess. Oh yeah, she does have crazy codependency issues. That's like, they're like unbelievable. The secret of her dependent nature. I almost killed her with that one. Jeez, you good? Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop! I beg you! If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say that you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made my dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. Stab the body with a knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. Ooh. What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man, I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like the last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. It was Oldback. I knew it. She's always been a murderer. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was already dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away that the murderer was Matt. I knew because he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I'd slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. Oh. An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. He shows up and he's just bald. He bet all his spikes. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for ya. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. I don't know if I pressed this one. So you were the one to stab the victim with a knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I use the button somehow, I can make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and plant it in Mr. On Guard's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Picking up Ellie and kissing her on the head, she hates this. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is this secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about that costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. On Guard's room and planted the button? Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt On Guard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she's not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Kablam! The sprite is so funny. Just like his hair is a solid object. Good job, Kate. Now Maya's gonna die. Yeah. But hey, now everybody knows that, everybody knows that Matt's not the killer. I think. Today's trial, it's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if you might look at one thing. Even though I said it would be cool if you killed yourself and I was going to rip the throat from your still living lips. That's just things I say sometimes. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. Shocker! Figured that out already. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you asked me. But as far as clue to this case, I don't see why... Witness that card. Give it to me. Hurry. Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. And once he thought he killed a guy. That card, what in the world is it? And what does it mean? To be continued. It's not exactly a whole stream, but I think this is a good time to stop. For big main save points. So I'm going to find somebody to raid. I'm glad that you could all make it. I knew that there was a chance that Teeps wouldn't. But I'm glad you all did. This was a nice stream. I appreciate you you hanging out with me while I ate. Let's see. Anakamaru is playing Lethal Company. That's a pretty cool game. So many peeps are live. Jeez. I like to read people who have smaller audiences at the time. So I hope you all enjoy Anakamaru and Lethal Company. I hope you enjoyed the Ace Attorney trilogy, because I'm definitely enjoying it despite my brain issues. And despite my previous hunger. I will see you on Sunday. We're going to be playing more Zezez. Keeps freezing. Oh no. Brain issues? I'm just having trouble, like, connecting the dots on things they want me to think about. That's just standard for me playing Ace Attorney, though. That's normal stuff. We'll be back on Sunday with Ziziz. I'm gonna try and work on a costume for Spooky Month. We're gonna be trying to get through Prey, but it's the Kill Everyone run, which I've never done before, which should be fun. And we're also going to try to play Castlevania Rondo of Blood at request. So I'm not sure when I'm going to put those in the schedule, but probably Wednesday and Friday. Raid is on the timer. You're about to go right now. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good week. See ya. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.